Hello.
We've had Winterville for the past 3 years this year.
Last time on Unique and Quirky Waterford, I arrived at Waterford Airport before catching up with Jack, who showed us some of the Viking and Norman walls prior to the incident.
Wardrobe malfunction.
I visited the museums to see Henry VIII's hat and the oldest piece of Waterford crystal, and I found out why there's a lock of Napoleon Bonaparte's hair in Waterford. I try out caving with Karen.
Here we go.
We're nearly there!
Oh, Christ.
I redefine the meaning of brave by entering the sea in winter with the help of my inflatable shark. We begin part 2 of Unique and Quirky Waterford at Anstown on the incredibly stunning Copper Coast Drive that stretches 25 kilometres from Tramore to Stradbally. I discovered that this is much more than just a scenic drive. The area is rich in thousands of years of history. With the weather being so delightful, I thought I'd hire a bike from Waterford Cycling Tours, and Donal was good enough to set me off in the right direction. My first stop is Dunhill Castle, where Cromwell's troops also once stopped off. Initially they failed to conquer this castle, but when Lady Power refused to serve beer to her soldiers to celebrate the victory, they raised a white flag to surrender. They never got to drink their beer that night. Cromwell's troops came back and made sure of that. I'm left wondering, was this the first example of an industrial dispute in Waterford? I'm on my bike again, and I'm off to find out why this area is called the Copper Coast.
Between 1824 and 1879, the area here was extensively mined for copper. It was in fact one of the most important mining districts in the British Empire.
Tanya told me that copper was needed for the huge British Admiralty to copper bottom their ships. Copper prevented the build-up of barnacles and also stopped the tropical worms from literally eating the ships.
The copper is actually hosted in quartz veins. So once they found the quartz vein that had a copper lode, they followed it. A lot of the mines went out underneath the sea. Here along the Copper Coast, we can trace our history back 460 million years to a time when North and South of Ireland hadn't joined together. The southern half of Ireland was located at the South Pole. The northern half of Ireland was located closer to the equator, and over the next 100 million years, that ocean closed, and this created a lot of volcanoes and earthquakes, gives us the geology that we see today.
An interesting geography lesson explaining the differences between the north of Ireland and the south.
If you want to come to the centre, we have a range of trail cards and brochures that we can give you where you can go and explore the Copper Coast yourself. The idea about these is we want to give people an opportunity where they can really explore the sense of place of the Copper Coast.
I've left the Copper Coast feeling energised by such ancient objects and stunning coastline. I find it hard to fathom that I've just visited one of the biggest copper mines in the world during the middle of the 19th century. Now I'm in Tramore to meet Ireland's first ever surf champion.
In 1981, the Irish National Surf Championships was on, and I won that. So I've gone down now in surf history as the first Irish surf champion.
Grace still surfs and coaches with the Irish Surf Association, which is the oldest and largest surf club in Ireland.
Tramore for us it's a safe, like nursery beach. It's a great place to learn to surf. Now, if you want serious waves, reef breaks and that, you go out along the coast, out to Anstown and out to Bunman and that.
And with her coffee finished, Grace is anxious to show me the sand dunes.
Here in Tramore particularly, it's some of the best sand dunes you'll get in the whole of Ireland. The sand dunes would have formed over the last 6,000 years after the Ice Age. In the whole area, the Backstrand area, which is also a tidal lagoon. And in there you'll have your cockles and your mussels and your periwinkles, and you get different types of clams. And because of all those species and all the little creepy crawlies, worms, invertebrates. That's what makes it such a rich feeding area, because of the type of wild fowl. These are migratory birds, and they come here from the Arctic regions in the winter. And then in the summer, we have the summer migrants coming in from Africa, France, Spain, those areas. One particular species of bird called the Brent geese. And the Brent geese has been here since about last October, November. And it's now February, so they'll be getting ready to spread their wings and head back north again soon. You have a type of bird called a wheatear, comes up from Africa.
I was surprised to learn that Grace began her environmental career in the Antarctic.
Okay, well, I joined Greenpeace and spent nearly 20 years as an activist with Greenpeace. It was about 1989, and we were protesting against the Japanese killing of the minke whales in Antarctica.
During the 1980s, Grace was in the Mediterranean, just north of Tunisia, when they met a Russian nuclear ship. Greenpeace was on an anti-nuclear campaign, and the captain radioed the Russians to tell them that an activist had boarded their ship.
And I started climbing up the cable with my bare feet, because I could feel the links of the cable. And they started shooting high-powered water down to try and knock me off. And that didn't work. So then they started what they call walking the cable out. So they started to drop the anchor further. So I just ended up falling back into the water. That was our demonstration. That's all we wanted, to create that image, to show people. Seabeat, or Beta maritima, it's called in Latin. And it actually...
Grace explains to be about foraging for food at the beach and the importance of marram grass for dune development.
The sand actually, as it's transported, it lodges around the base.
I could keep listening to Grace for hours, but it's rapidly approaching overtime for the crew, so we call it a wrap. Grace is now retired from saving the world on a global scale. She now concentrates on her own little patch of Tramore by passing on her enthusiasm of the environment to local school children. I'm left in no doubt that her activism during the 1980s has led to an increasing number of whales being spotted off the Waterford coast.
So it's our second last day in Ireland, and we have a little bit of rain. It's not even rain really, it's just a little bit of drip on the windscreen.
In Ireland, they drive on the left most of the time.
Fáilte go dtí Ardmore Dhéagláin agus Ardmore na Néise. Cacalor. This was the original monastic settlement. Brilliant. And on this monastic settlement there are three things of interest. Number one is the round tower here, which is 12th century. The Ardmore one is one of the more perfect, the cathedral and the burial chamber of St. Declan. And we in Ardmore like to believe that St. Declan arrived here before the time of St. Patrick. St. Pat arrived in Ireland in 432. Our man was around from about 380, 390. I believe in every parish in Ireland there are stories to tell, and there are many stories to tell here in Ardmore.
Why was it built?
We were told that these towers appeared on monastic sites so as that the people living in the monasteries could hide valuables and other things when they were under threat. Some would say that they were built as, shall we say, beacons. Others would say they were belfries. Others would say that they were built as edifices for the greater glory of God, reaching towards the heavens. Others would say that they were related to the minarets of the Middle East. Others would say that they had pagan origins. Others would say that they had something to do with fertility rites, and I have no clue where they got that idea from. The tower had timber floors within, and the door is 14 feet off the ground. It's conical in shape. The windows at the very top, as you can see, are facing due north, south, east and west. If you look closely, you see each stone in itself is a piece. They fit neatly together, but if you can visualize cutting birthday cake, it's round on the outside, you cut it this way to get into the center, and then you've got to cut the shape this way so as that you take into account the fact that the tower is leaning towards a point and that it is conical. The rings on the Ardmore tower are unique. There is no other tower in these islands that has these rings.
The siege of Ardmore took place in 1642, an earlier lesser-known rebellion against the ruling British Empire. The battle scars of musket shot can be still seen today.
There was 187 people involved in the siege. 117 of them were males. They were all hanged.
Some of the cathedral here was built in the 9th century, replacing an earlier structure made from wood. Perhaps more famous than the tower itself are the stone carvings, depicting a number of scenes from the Bible.
If you look here at the Garden of Eden, you have the tree of knowledge, and if you look at the top, you can see actually the apples. Here in this image between Adam and Eve, the apple is being passed over, and of course they realise for the first time that they are not wearing clothes. You see the position of the hands.
This is King Solomon with a sword. These are the two mothers decided on whose child it is.
What you probably didn't notice was King Solomon's harpist, playing the oldest known image of the Irish harp.
This is the 12th century section, and down ahead of us here we have the 9th century section. Kevin, this is an early ohmstone. This ohmstone relates to the 3rd, maybe 4th century. It is thought that this was a burial stone or a headstone that was placed on an ancestor of St. Declan. The markings, the inscriptions on the ohmstone run down on this side and at the rear. And it is said that it says Louis, the chieftain who died in a battle near Water.
So Liam, where does it actually say Louis?
For God's sake, I have a clue. Well, this is where St. Declan is buried. This was the middle of the monastery, shall we say.
Liam, lovely to meet you.
Fortror Cuivin agus is stashling to Veling and saw in Ardmore art Yeglon Nefa.
I'm not exactly sure what Liam said, but I am glad to have my hand back.
We've arrived at the beautiful Cliff House Hotel. It's a little bit of foodie heaven, and we're going inside right now to find out a little bit more about it.
Hi Kevin, you're very welcome.
Lovely to meet you.
Let me take your bag for you.
Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome.
Absolutely fabulous hotel.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, what makes this hotel quite so famous?
Quite a few things, I guess. Our location would be pretty unique. We're overlooking the Ardmore Bay. Every room has a view, every public area has a view. The design of the hotel, the interiors of the hotel, the largest private collection of campaign furniture in Ireland.
Tell me something about campaign furniture. I'm intrigued by it.
It's furniture that was built in the earlier part of the 19th century for the generals in the World Wars. When they would travel, it would be then rebuilt if you were in the tents, so they would have a very comfortable existence on campaign, as it were.
Lovely to hear about what makes the hotel so wonderful, but I'm keen just to jump in and check it out for myself.
Adrian, what makes this Ireland's most unique golf green?
Basically because you're trying to land on a floating green out in the bay here.
Tell me something about these golf balls. They don't look like they're Celeste or Slazenger.
No, these are specially designed for us. They're made of fish food and they are eco-friendly. They dissolve in the sea 24 or 48 hours after you've landed in the water. So they don't harm the environment at all.
Fantastic. I'm going to have to remember to take one away with me to feed my fish and see if it does work.
Just as they say, grip it and rip it.
So I'm going to go ahead and give it a lash and see how we go. Good luck. Thank you. It's a very innovative way of feeding fish, I must say. It's been a while since I've taken any golf lessons, so anything you want to shout at me there about my stance or anything, go ahead.
Good.
Please let it go into the sea.
Well done. Great shot.
Thank you.
Feeling quite relieved that I hadn't caused any damage to the hotel, and with the local fish fed, I decided I should strip off and head for the spa.
Hi, Aileen.
Hi Kevin, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Hop into the bath. And
Oh, lovely.
Make it as hot and as cold as you need it to be.
This is my first seaweed bath. What sort of wonderful things will I expect to happen to me?
Well, the seaweed has many health benefits. They've been using it for thousands of years. It's really hydrating on the skin as well, and it also has anti-aging properties.
I'm told that Cleopatra used to have sour donkey milk in her bath. Do they offer any other alternative baths here in the Cliff House Hotel?
Well, we've nothing to that extreme, but we do have the peat bath as well. It's really good for muscle aches and pains, and the aromatherapy salt can also bring the seaweed away with you as well.
Oh, fantastic. I could do with that.
So Kevin, I'm just going to leave you relaxed there for your 40 minutes, and if you need anything then you can give us a shout.
This is absolutely bliss. I'm really enjoying this. It's not very often that you get to have a bath outside with such a fantastic view. Oh, I think my 40 minutes must be up now. absolutely fantastic.
Even on an overcast day, one can't be but impressed with the view. Out the window. With all traces of seaweed down the drain, I managed to select a shirt that complements the colour of the room. I do hope you're suitably impressed by the fact that I have my own private staircase and a selection of Aran sweaters to choose from. I managed to sneak into the kitchen and catch up with Martin, the head chef, and the man responsible for the hotel's culinary successes. I asked him about his food philosophy.
My food philosophy is actually quite simple. It needs to be fresh, it needs to be of the highest quality. The produce needs to come as close as possible at the hotel. It's a good story to tell your guests what you're actually eating. It's picked this morning or even a few hours ago. If you really want to do it right, you really want to differentiate yourself, you can tailor-made what you want. Like we have a garden in St. Rayfields where we work with people who are mentally challenged. We have a forager who gets to see vegetables. He forages for wild garlic, mushrooms, and all that. We have a little nursery at the side of the hotel where the chefs, as a collective, are responsible to grow small little herbs for finished dishes.
What will be on your tasting menu tonight?
Tonight we have West Cork scallops with Jerusalem artichoke. We have the scallops seared, and then we dust it with sea vegetable. A little bit of a lime dressing over it to give a bit of acidity.
All this talk was making me hungry, so I persuaded him to make me something to eat.
I'm going to show you our amuse-bouche where we serve. I calculate my amuse-bouche, it's 193 calories per serving. We have a warm element, so we're going to have a soup. It's very smooth and silky in your mouth. And it's made of shallots, cream, garlic, and vegetable stock. And we topped it off with a cheddar foam, and then we have a smoked hazelnut crunch on top. We have a small little baby potato, and I coat it in edible clay. Beetroot macaroon. I know you see them all over the shop now these days. I don't mind. It is something nice. It's something that's part of my kitchen. It's basically whipped up beetroot juice. So you actually make a virtual meringue. You pipe it on, you dry it, and you fill it up with an Alzella goat cheese.
Thank you very much, Mark. It was lovely to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
I can't wait to get outside into the restaurant and try this. Thank you very much. Absolutely delicious. God, that is so good. Absolutely amazing different taste running through me now. And here's the humble potato. Hats off to Martin. The amount of different taste sensations going on from each dish has just been absolutely lovely.
Feeling completely satisfied, I trot off to the bar in search of my new best friend.
We make the Mai Tai in the tiki glass, fresh pineapple puree. After we use 2 different rums, spicy and 8 years old rum. After we use fresh lime juice, Cointreau. Thank you very much. I think that's puree now.
That's very good. I do like that. It certainly gets some pineapple taste, but there's plenty of alcohol in that too. So this is classed as the best hangover cure drink.
Of course, that's the best because it's plenty of vitamins. We use vodka, we use fresh lemon juice, we use Tabasco, salt, pepper, and tomato juice.
I'm just looking forward to the tomato.
Yes.
We'll give it a go anyway.
It's a little bit spicy.
Initially you get the taste of the tomato, or then you get the hit of the Tabasco going. Oh, the tomato will sober me up. Can I get this in a take-home cup for tomorrow?
Yes, of course, why not?
What's next?
Next is spicy passion fruit mojito, fresh lime, passion fruit, dark rum, ginger beer.
Ooh. Oh, that's my favourite so far. I really get the passion fruit there. Wow. I'll just have to go again with this one. It's actually very refreshing.
Yeah, of course.
Hugely refreshing. I'll have to let the rest of the team finish these off. After the last few days of tearing around Waterford, I tell you all I want to do now is sit down and relax, read my book. A bit later head off to my suite and go to sleep.
It's my last day in Ireland, and I'm going to cross the country on foot, following the old railway line.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, how's the form? How are you?
You're the man that's going to escort me along some of the Deise Greenway. I've just come from Dungarvan. So tell me, what is Deise Greenway?
Well, to go back to the start really, this is a railway line and it's from Mallow the whole way to Waterford, okay? The piece from Lismore to Waterford was completed in 1878, so it's here about 135 years.
The railway and its bridges played a major role in the Irish Civil War in 1922. The anti-treaty forces led by Eamon de Valera needed to stop the advance of the pro-treaty forces led by Michael Collins, and this bridge was a gateway into the heart of Munster. The anti-treaty forces needed to come up with a plan to slow their advance.
On one day they blew 7 bridges from the Cummers right down to the beach down here, and this was one of them, and that was in August 1922. This is the bridge originally in 1900. It was so vital to the county, it had to be rebuilt. If you went to Kilmac, or also beyond Dora, there's a fine example, ones that haven't been blown up. By this time next year we should have a lovely surface the whole way from Dungarvan, the whole way to Waterford City.
And you'll continue the tarmac at him so it's easy for bikes?
It is, that's going to be 4 metres wide.
Okay.
It's going to be 49 kilometres. There's a number of cycleways called Eurovelo routes, and the one we're on at the moment is Eurovelo 1, and it takes you from Norway the whole way to Portugal.
I guess what's wonderful about this is that it's flat for bikes and flat for walkers.
Yeah, we're approaching the tunnel up here, so obviously there's higher land here, so it had to be cut, you know, just like a gorge. So as you can see on both sides, a lot of work went in the 1870s. It's really unbelievable the amount of work without heavy machinery they did here. Is it not you? It's hardly me.
Yeah, it has to be you. You arrived in the sun, and then I'm going out in the rain.
But at least we have a tunnel to go into here. As you go in further now, you'll see some limestone formations on these alcoves further in. The amount of work that's gone into this is massive. Probably 250,000 bricks.
So what are we looking at here, Gordon?
Can you see the some of the formations on here?
Oh, wonderful.
It's the water coming down there and leaving particles of limestone, and they make those beautiful formations.
I have a geography teacher that told the class the tides come down. That's
Okay. It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
And there's about 10 of them along the way. They're like works of art, really.
And these little stalactites just coming down here.
Coming down the way all over the place, yeah. And actually, look at this one here coming down, and then you have a stalagmite coming up the way. So I would presume this one is forming this one. We'll head on this one.
That was lovely.
Yeah.
Through there.
God, it's bright out here.
It's lovely. It's great to see the sunshine again.
Yeah, it's only a quarter of a mile now to Dora. Walk to the station there. There's actual toilets there. The urinals are still in pristine condition like they were 50 years ago. And there's a few features like that. Do with a pint, could you?
Oh, geez, I wouldn't mind a beer after all that walking.
I know.
No place, do you?
I do. There's a little place up here, right? Nice little place.
Well, you lead the way.
So here's my little shebeen.
This is great. I love this. This is brilliant. Garvin, this is your speakeasy, your shebeen, your man cave, your temple to beer. Tell me, how did it start?
I built it about 2 years ago. There was a number of friends of mine who were building shebeens. Bit of competition kind of generated between the lot of us who'd have the better shebeen at the end. Hopefully I've built the best one.
Perhaps in the next episode we could do a tour and I could be the judge.
So if you want to try something, maybe something quite local, obviously from Dungarvan. So this particular one here is Dungarvan Brewing Company, Helvic Gold.
And that's just down the road from here, isn't it?
It's only in the road about 5 miles.
Fantastic.
It really
anyway,
is, you know.
Here's to the Deise Greenway.
That's it. Very good.
Oh, that's good.
That is nice.
So much flavour.
It is flavour, yeah. I'm actually making some of my own beers at the moment.
So who is this fella on the side?
Yeah, you have Michael Collins here and you have Eamon de Valera on this side.
Okay, so Michael Collins' gang were on the Waterford side of the viaduct.
They were the Free Staters, yeah. And de Valera here was head of the Irregulars. Against the treaty, for the treaty.
Okay, so
basically.
Both. Here's the viaduct.
Yeah.
Here's the train line.
Yeah.
These guys blew it up. These guys were trying to get over there.
I'm really finding this way of moving beer bottles around the counter terribly useful for learning history. I can see myself spending a little bit more time here. I walk, and I walk, and then I walk further. It's a good walk. You're not going to get lost on it or anything. Ooh, nice viaduct.
Hello, Kevin.
I hope you've got a lift for me from here, do you?
I have indeed. You can get down as far as the Magic Wood. They're doing some work beyond that, so that's as far as we can go today.
I've seen some great work along the line of cutting back. What's happening there?
The Waterford Council are building the Deise Greenway at the moment. It's going to take you all the way into Bilbury.
Great, well I appreciate a lift some of the way anyway. Great if we can organise a ticket.
Absolutely, we'll do that, yeah. Well, the Waterford and Suir Valley Railway was set up in 2001. There was 10 kilometres of track laid from Kilmeaden Station into Bilbury, just outside Waterford City. This is part of the abandoned Waterford-Dungarvan railway line. In its day when it was operating, known as one of the most scenic railway lines in Europe. Kilmeaden Station closed in 1967, so it was completely abandoned. The railway, apart from being a tourist attraction, will actually become a means of transport between the areas of interest along the route.
They must stop.
Thanks a million. Jeez, where are you off to?
Oh, where's we go?
In there. I'm hoping my lift can take me out of this county in style.
Mayday, mayday, we've lost control. Mayday, mayday, we're going down. We're going into a tailspin. We're going down, we're going down.
Press the red button, Kevin. Press the red button if you left your seat. Press the red button, Kevin. Press...
Mick, the local fireman, is on the scene in minutes. The only evidence from the crash located is the black box and some external video footage.